kita lagi ada di mana ini?
Known as Hearst Castle.
Where are we going?
As we begin the riding portion of your tour, we ask for your cooperation. Please stay seated at all times and keep your head and arms inside the windows. Please turn your cell phones to mute. If you have trash to dispose of, there will be a trash container when you exit. Bottled water is allowed, but food and chewing gum are not permitted on the bus or during the walking tour. We thank you for your assistance in helping to maintain this beautiful place. The road you are traveling is the same one the art collector and newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst traveled when he began building this estate with his architect Julia Morgan in 1919. They worked on this project for 28 years. We will pass a large Spanish-style house built in the 1930s as the poultry ranch manager's residence. It is still used by Hearst ranch employees today. All his life, William Randolph Hearst referred to this place as the Ranch at San Simeon, even though in later years he gave it a more formal name, La Cuesta Encantada, the Enchanted Hill. His hilltop estate became one of the most glamorous country houses in America. It was also Mr. Hearst's primary residence on the West Coast, and a place to showcase a stunning collection of Mediterranean art objects, shown against the backdrop of California's beautiful natural landscape. Hundreds of glamorous guests traveled the same road to visit the castle in the 1920s. But imagine Mr. Hearst first as young people, a bold that was father along the winding bridle path that would become this road, climbing on horseback 1,600 feet, 188 meters, to a hilltop that was often sunny. Fog shrouded the coast during the summertime. Later in life, Mr. Hearst had easily managed by hanging on to the table like cooking. George Hearst knew California's landscape well, having traveled west as a miner in the early 1850s to East Coast. The geology that caused these steep hills to rise from the ocean floor millions of years ago is the same factors that brought precious metals like gold, silver, and copper closer to the Earth's surface, allowing them to wash down the high mountain peaks of the west. Though thousands came west looking for easy riches during the gold rush, few succeeded. George Hearst was a skilled miner and geologist, and became one of America's richest men with investments in silver, copper, and wholesale gold mines. But he never mined this region. George Hearst bought the land at San Simeon in 1865 as a capital temple was rented. He had married Phoebe Nickerson Hearst in 1862 hills and mingling with the cattle. Originally, this land was home to Native Americans, Chumash, and Saline peoples, who lived there for over 9,000 years. It was claimed by Spain after 1769, and then settled by California cattle ranchers during a brief period of Mexican ownership. California joined the United States in 1850, soon after gold was discovered. George Hearst bought 3 ranchos and continued to run cattle over hilly expanses above the Pacific. And 150 years later, this is still a family cattle ranch. The Hearst Corporation runs over 2,000 head of grass-fed beef on these hills today, largely black and red Angus. The cattle graze much as they always have, and depending on the season, you may see it on the hillsides. William Randolph Hearst was 56 in 1919. His mother Phoebe died, his father having passed away early. William inherited this land he developed and immediately hired a talented and singular architect, Julian Morgan, whose firm was located in San Francisco. Hearst was overheard walking into Miss Morgan's office and announcing he was tired of camping in tents and getting a little off that by taking up building something. Well, his little something became this estate of more than 165 reals, and he chose to build it on the hill which had served as his mother's original campsite. Julia Morgan's first challenges were to make a road over the old granite path, and also to bring water from the natural springs that were located on a mountain almost 6 miles east of this hillside. To this day, water provided to the estate comes from the same 1.5 gallon reservoir by Miss Morgan and Mr. Hearst in the 1930s. Some of it is stored in tanks atop the castle's bell towers. You may also glimpse a 16 million gallon reservoir recently built by the Hearst Corporation to provide water for the current family ranch operation. The Mediterranean climate of this region brings hot, dry summers and cool, wet winters, a perfect setting for the native oak trees known as coastal live oaks, or Quercus agrifolium. These are the large trees we pass, which have spreading low branches, small dark green leaves, and rough brown bark. Mr. Hearst and Miss Morgan designed the road to wind around the trees, some of which are more than 300 years old. On the hilltop, they sited the buildings around the oaks, and occasionally even moved a massive out of the way as the castle. You'll notice the hillsides are also covered with grasses. With the winter rains, these grasses turn a rich green. In the summer and fall, they change color to a golden brown. Mr. Hearst filled these pastures with these exotic zoo animals. In his day, guests traveling this road would have passed by antelopes, yaks, giraffes, llamas, water buffalo, bison, and more than 100 other species. Most are gone now, but in addition to the omnids, today you might see sound deer and post-out elk mingled with the cattle. You may also glimpse some animals native to the area, big deer, foxes, and coyotes, as well as the large black birds that soar through the skies, known as turkey vultures. The views of the coastline can be quite spectacular on clear days. So too are the views of the twin-towered structure Hearst and Julia Morgan called Casa Grande, which means big house in Spanish, now commonly referred to as the castle. The road was designed so the castle would appear and disappear as you climb higher. Upon reaching the top of the mountain, we will travel through a landscaped area filled with fruit trees, which supplied some of the food in Hearst's time on the ranch. He grew nearly all his food on site, including beef, poultry, dairy products, and fruits and vegetables. You may also see on the left the remains of a columned arbor known as the pergola. It was a path for walking or riding from one perspective. Its columns builds off, your walking tour is about to begin. We ask for your help again in preserving this remarkable state. While on tour, please touch only the handrails of concrete and black iron, and avoid touching or leaning against any other objects. When inside the buildings, please remain on the tour carpet. Flash photography is allowed outdoors only. Please turn off your flash when you go inside the buildings. Your tour will take one way or without nothing back, so be sure to take your photographs when you see them. Photography for personal use is very much encouraged, but written permission must be obtained for publication. Please turn off your cell phones or put them on mute. Bottled water is allowed, no other food or drink. Chewing gum must be disposed of in the trash containers as you leave the bus. We request that you stay with your group at all times. Ask your guides if you need any assistance. And now we invite you to imagine what it would have been like to visit this glamorous estate in Mr. First's time. For him, it was always the enchanted hill. Get ready for your enchantment to begin.
Can I start her home?
爷爷，楼梯太高了，帮我们切一下。
Oh, the kitchen is right through that door, right? Yep. It's right around the corner from you. Yeah. Yeah, there's a door to it right there, and then also there's a door in the hallway. No, the kitchen's not part of this tour. It's on the cottages and kitchen tour. You could spend a whole hour.
Cottages and kitchen tour.
Yeah,
I like that.
you could spend a whole hour in the kitchen. Do you have a question? Nobody's allowed to live here, and we don't even put a value because it's priceless. It cost him about $10 million to build, but that was 1920s money, so a lot more than that today.
I know.
You feel me? All right, come on in. Don't go downstairs.
Ding, ding, ding.
And spread out. Get closer to the Look at this.
You're going this way?
Yeah.
You can stand and just stay out.
Only on the carpet, I think. It's supposed to go out.
We're in the assembly room. Second largest room in the house. 5,500 square feet. This is where guests came every evening for cocktail hour. When you first arrived here, you couldn't have met his servers. And most of the time, you couldn't have found his wife here either. Let me tell you those stories. His wife, Millicent, she had the idea for the swimming pool. She was the mother of his 5 sons. But she didn't spend much time here. They met and married when Hearst was living in New York. And when he decided he wanted to spend more time in his native California, that he had a girlfriend. So he and Millicent separated around 1925. They never got divorced. They remained married. His wife never spent much time here. Now, Hearst, he's invited you to visit him here. His home, he's in the building. He's upstairs. He had a large private office on the third floor. He worked a lot. He started with one newspaper his father owned. He grew that into a large multimedia company. He had 28 newspapers, 14 magazines, 10 radio stations, and a movie production company. Even though this was one of his vacation homes, he worked a lot. He'll come down and join us a little bit later, right before dinner. The woman who would have greeted you here was his girlfriend. Her name was Marion Davies. She was a Hollywood actress. She was his connection to Hollywood. Many of her Hollywood friends made many visits here. People like Charlie Chaplin, Uncle Marx, Mary Grant, Clark Gable, Mary Pickford, and Davis. People from other parts of the economy came here as well. Businessman A.B. Giannini from the bank. J. Paul Getty. Former President Calvin Coolidge and his wife Grace visited here. Winston Churchill was not on that side. Even Walt Disney came here in the 1940s.
Walt Disney was
You
here.
never know who you might
Yeah, very cute.
Please move into the room just a little bit more and make room for everyone behind you. Now remember I talked outside, I said there's one kitchen? It's right around the corner. This is the only dining room. It's called a refectory. A refectory is a fancy word for a long, narrow dining room. First original idea was to have a rose garden. That never got built.
Going to swimming pool now. Hai, kita lagi ada di swimming poolnya. Gila keren banget coy. Keren. Hai. Okay.
You like it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Look at these lines with gold right here.
Yeah. That's a goal. Wow.
That price of this gold.
Does the pool party include this?
It does not, no. On rare occasions, the family uses this pool, but that's it. This pool's 10 feet deep all the way across. You need to have to be a good swimmer.
It doesn't matter how deep.
Except over there, it's 3.5 feet deep.
Yeah.
Now,
They're so amazing.
I want to let everyone know we have something going on the road. The road is blocked. I don't know if it's an animal or a bus or such, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay before your bus can leave. You can stay in here, look at the pool. You can sit on the bus, but it's probably quite warm. And we'll have a little bit of room to stand outside, but we do have to maintain a safe.
Ah, this is a castle.
Oh, it's the garden before the.
Bungalow. 5 again.
Picture na, picture. One. Hurry up.
Turn around. Look at me. Done? No, not on the stairs though. Take your foot off the stair yet. Okay?
Wow, look.
Here's our Egyptian artifacts, oldest items here on the hilltop. They all represent the goddess known as Sekhmet. She's the head of a lioness and the body of a woman. These are all made of diorite, very hard stones similar to granite. And they're all between 32 and 3,500 years old. So these statues once overlooked the Nile River in Egypt. Now it's got another great water view of the Pacific Ocean. This is a prominent place on the state here. Often one of the first things guests would see when they arrived here. They would take a train to San Luis Obispo, and then a car would meet them, a taxi or a limousine, to bring them here over mostly dirt roads. Those cars came up the very same road your bus traveled on. That road was also dirt until the early 1960s. That road continues back around behind the house, and the driveway ends down here in a cul-de-sac below this courtyard that we can see. So guests would come up the steps behind you, catch a glimpse of the Sekhmet fountain. You'd be greeted by
Really?
Yep. That's okay. Water's fine. I just want to make sure we have everyone. We need
Kita
everyone
lagi
off the
di
stairs.
mana?
You may have to spread out. You might be in the sun for a minute. We won't be here for too long. That's it.
Film everything.
Yes, we start from here.
Going to the terrace.
Wow, look. Yes, California. Tree, palm tree. Hai, kita sudah ada di luar buildingnya.
Yeah.
Look. Wow, beautiful. Every single.
Oh, that marine layer is hiding the ocean a little bit.
Wow,
It's hugging the coastline there.
look. That's the view from
But I
outside.
promise you the ocean is out there.
That's over there outside.
One of the things we're
There's the ocean over there?
about
Look at the garden.
California.
Building.
Ocean view.
Yeah, turn around slowly. And look at this. Right here.
I look this.
Now, after you turn around from looking at the ocean, you might notice there's a small house on this hill above us. That's right, I said small house. Because this is one of our free guest cottages.
This is a guess.
It's not even the largest of those.
Cottage.
This is the medium-sized guest cottage. It's called Casa del Sol, or House of the Sun.
I think
It
I
looks
want
out
to hear.
facing the west, so it has a great view of the sunset in the evening. It has 8
It's a
bedrooms,
guest.
8 bathrooms,
Guest house.
This is for
about 3,600 square feet.
3,600 square
Guest
feet.
cottage. We'll see the other 2 guest cottages as we walk through the gardens later in this tour. I want to tell you a little bit about the Hearst family so you can get an understanding and appreciation of why William Randolph Hearst built here in this pretty remote part of the Central Coast area of California.
That's one of the best.
His father was George
That's called a cottage. It's like
Oh, that's not true.
Came in 1850. Looking for gold. He was a little bit too late though. He traveled to Nevada. He got an interest in a silver mine that was part of a Comstock silver lode. That was the largest silver find ever. That's why Nevada is known as the silver state. And that silver mine was the beginning of the Hearst family wealth. In 1865, working as a governess and a tutor. She had some dreams. One of her dreams was to see California.
take picture over there.
And well, the best way for a young lady to do that in 1860 in Missouri was marry a rich guy. So that is what she did. They traveled to California together, made their home in San Francisco, where George had set up the offices for his mining company. In 1862, their only child, William Randolph Hearst, was born in San Francisco. So he was a native Californian. Just 2 years later, 1865, George Hearst bought 40,000 acres here on the central coast of California. He paid about $30,000, 70 to 75 any development. John Gilbert, another actor with his wife, Virginia Bruce. Claire Windsor on the left, Mexican actress Dolores Del Rio on the right. John Chaplin liked to play tennis when he was here. You might have got a few tips from this tennis player. Bill Tilden was the first American man to win Wimbledon. Actress Carol Lombard on the right. Bill Tilden showing us his backhand. Claire Windsor and Buddy Rogers getting ready for a horse ride. Hearst also liked to go on horse rides. Here he's wearing his riding gear. He learned to ride here as a child with his father. He often wore a Stetson hat. It's like a warm afternoon by the fountain. You're going to see Hearst again in the next clip, but focus on the woman who's next to him. That's the architect, Julia Morgan. She didn't like to be